summer night. It was a local village amateur dramatic society. And they were doing Romeo and Juliet, you know, the star-crossed teenage lovers. Now, Romeo was about 50 in this production. And Juliet had obviously had about 5 kids before. And it was like, oh, who will you? Oh, please. And, but I saw this happen. The big comedy role in that play is the part of Juliet's nurse. Right? She comes out and she does a lot of comedy speeches and stuff. And, oh, Mr. Shakespeare. But this play was going on and it was terrible. And everyone was kind of tired and bored. And then the nurse came out to do the comedy speech. And just as she came out, it was at the stately home, and behind her, on the kind of stage area, was a giant fountain. And at the fountain, she comes out, she's giving her speech, she doesn't see this, but a cat came out behind her. A real cat, not a, Andrew Lloyd Webber cat, a real cat. Came out behind her, and it went to go and have a drink at the fountain. So all the audience who were kind of like bored started going, oh, look, there's a cat. And, of course, she starts feeding off the energy of the audience. So she's really acting in and the cat hears this commotion, and he kind of looked up at the audience. And the audience started laughing because the cat was very funny. He was cute. And the cat was drinking at the fountain, and everyone's going, oh, is the cat going to fall in or not? And everyone's laughing. And the nurse is acting like crazy. And just as she finished her speech, the cat just trotted off and left. And the audience went, oh, fantastic. To that day, that woman thinks that she gave the speech of a lifetime, that I was great that night, I could never get... And I had to go backstage afterwards and say to her, you... And I wanted to say, and the pussy was magnificent, and what I meant... the cat. The pussy cat. Man, get your minds out of the gutter! Anyway, Now, listen, before I did this show, I was an actor. And I worked in a theatre show called the Rocky Horror Show. You know that show with the... I played the All-American Boy. I'm not kidding. Brad Majors. It was a year in the West End in London. So that was a year I spent in a dress and high heels. So my previous record was about 9 months, but a year. Right. And every night, the girl that was playing Janet, who's the kind of love interest for Brad, I didn't like her. We didn't get along at all. We didn't like each other. And I had to kiss her every night. It was kind of like being married. I was... What? I'm just trying to explain the situation. Imagine, like, the person you work in the office with, right? The person you work with that you really hate, and then you have to make out with them every night. It was kind of hot, actually. I don't know why. I still think about her, like, I hated her. Damn, why doesn't she call? Anyway, Rocky Horror was a musical. I don't really like musicals much. I don't really... I mean, I saw Miss Saigon, and I liked the helicopter. But that's because I like helicopters, not because I like... I get annoyed with the singing dialogue thing. Who will buy my sausages? Nobody, if you're going to walk around like that singing. No. In real life, it doesn't happen in real... You don't go into a hardware store and say, have you got nails? I need nails. I'm building a deck and I need some nails. I gotta have nails. What's that? Gotta have me some nails. He's gonna build a deck. Yes, I'm gonna build a deck. Just ask for the damn nails. What is this, Homo Depot? Get out of here. I have to say, though, I did see the ABBA musical, the Mamma Mia musical. Do you see it? That's a great, great show. I loved that show. Because you know all the songs. The Dancing Queen song, I love that song. It's a great song. Everybody knows that song. Charlie Sheen, he was obscene with a tangerine. He's a dancing queen. I don't know. Did you know that ABBA, by the way, this is an interesting true fact, not related to what I'm talking about, but ABBA once sold 18 million copies of one particular album in Australia at a time when only 15 million people lived in Australia. Australians really, really love ABBA in a way that we can't understand. Anyway, Just saying. When I worked in the theatre, you hear a lot of actors, you know, it's not just the actors that count in the theatre. You've got to get on with everybody. You've got to get on with the crew. And there's a story about an actor who was very unpopular. And I know this guy, I can't tell you his name. But he was very unpopular. He was doing one of these detective kind of murder whodunit things in the West End in London. And everybody hated him. He's a complete bastard. You know, he's mean to everyone. And so, you know, he's at the end of the play, he has to, you know, say, I knew it was you all along, and now you're going to pay, Margaret. And he walks behind a drawer, he opens a drawer at this desk, takes out a gun and shoots the bad guy. And the bad guy goes, ah, and dies. That's the end of the play. And in the last night of the play, he goes, I knew it was you all along. He walks around to the back of the desk, he opens the drawer, and the props guys that are meant to set the gun wrote a note. And no gun, just said, screw you. Sure. But this guy was an actor, so he has to keep going. It's theatre, it's live, so he doesn't know what to do. He's got to kill this guy, so he goes, I knew it was you all along, and now you're going to pay. And he walks back round and he kicks this other actor in the nuts. And the other actor has to die, or the play doesn't make sense. So he went, the shoe was poisoned, and then died. True story.
Worldwide Pants.